Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So many of you are excited to trade about the budget. Trading means that okay, before budget I'll buy this stock, during budget I'll buy these stocks and it will give me massive rally and paise paise honge. Please understand things fundamentally. This might be a major mistake that you might make. So on this video, I'm going to help you understand through 10 very simple points what is it that you should be doing in terms of trading the budget in case you are trying to do that. So let me present the entire story in 10 very simple, easy to understand points. Now for people who do not know about me, my name is Akshat Shrivastava. I graduated from INSEAD, worked in finance, management consulting, top tier firms, have been managing a fairly big portfolio for the last several years, and now I run my own hedge fund. So whatever I learn by speaking with the rich, I bring it to retail investors in very simple, no nonsense manner. So in case you like, you can subscribe to the channel. Also, since we are on the topic of the budget, it is important to note that our household expenses or household budget can get deeply impacted by uncertain events. For example, the loss of a loved ones. So on that note, let me introduce you to the partners of today's video, which is Policy Bazaar. It is an excellent platform for buying health and term insurance. By paying just 600 to 700 rupees per month, you can get a term insurance cover worth 2 crores. For health insurance, you can get a cover of 1 crore rupee just by spending 300 to 400 rupees per month. Please note that the premium on health and term insurance is going very high. The medical inflation in India is close to 14%. So the sooner you do it, the better it is for you. Through Policy Bazaar, you can get a 30-minute claim assistance in the event of any tragedy and get up to 25% discount on health insurance plans. You can get up to 10% discount on term plans. You can compare up to 51 plans and pick the plan that is best for you. So do check out the links in the description and comment box. Now with that said, let's move over to the main video. Okay, so 10 simple points. Point number 1 is that people had missed the election rally. I think it was around 3rd when election results were announced. There was a dip in the market. People missed buying that, and on 4th the market rallied and they missed the rally, right? So thoda date yahan ho sakti hai, but you get the concept. Now those people are trying to make up ki bhai chalo theek hai, election rally we missed, but we will now go and trade in the budget and we will make up for the losses that we incurred in that election rally. Please don't do that, because this budget is the actual budget. An interim budget had already been provided in the past. So we already have a clear direction as to which way the government is going to go in terms of its budget allocation. So the first key point is that don't try to make up for the election rally. You might actually end up making losses. Point 1. Point 2, if you look at the macro data, what you will figure out is that there is likely to be very high volatility in the Indian markets going forward. Why is that the case? इसके लिए मैं आपको दिखा देता हूँ macro data for India. So for example, if you take a look at something called as India's government debt to GDP ratio, you will quickly realize that India's debt to GDP is still very, very high. Now some of you might start कि अच्छा China की भी तो high है, US की भी तो high है, etc. etc. True, I'm not trying to deny that. All I'm simply trying to tell you is that India's debt to GDP is currently very high, which means that the markets are likely to be volatile. ऐसा क्यों होता है? Because debt to GDP simply means leverage. Leverage का मतलब होता है कि कितना लोन ले रखा है सरकारों ने, right? Now, if Chinese government has taken a lot of loan, Indian government has taken a lot of loan, US government has taken a lot of loan, then the markets will not rise like this. Okay, markets rise करती हैं. Markets might rise like this. Okay, so there will be a lot of volatility. Volatility means होती है कि एक दिन मार्केट ऊपर जा रहा है, next day it is coming down, etc. etc. So that volatility can be problematic, especially for inexperienced investors and especially for traders. Which brings me to point number 3, that don't over trade due to budget. Now mostly traders trade as per their stop losses. Stop losses का मतलब होता है कि आप मान के चलो कि you know what, you are in buying let's say ITC stock at hypothetically 100 rupees, okay, and you have put the stop loss at 90 rupees कि अच्छा if ITC falls to 90 rupees I will sell. Okay, many a times what that happens is that ITC directly falls from 100 rupees to let's say 85 rupees, right? And your stop loss gets triggered, but there are no counter buyers at the other side. So this is called as triggering of the stop loss below your value that you have perceived, and this can lead to massive losses, right? So this happens more and more in volatile environment. Similarly, when you place orders, and I was reading like about this on Twitter, that a lot of traders place their order through their brokers कि हमें इतने पे खरीदना था, इतने पे निकालना था stock, but we got allocation at some other price that we had perceived, and that was the fault of the broker. Now किसकी fault है उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, नुकसान आपका होगा if you sit and overtrade. This is the third key important point. Now what is a better approach? A better approach is called as keeping 20% cash. Okay, so now what is the meaning of keeping 20% cash? So आप ये मान के चलो कि if your portfolio is worth 1 crore, okay, then right now you should keep 20 lakhs as your opportunity fund, right? Opportunity fund. अब why am I saying this? इसका मैं आपको थोड़ा सा फंडा बता देता हूँ that why is it that I am actually giving you this logic, right? And this is going to be very powerful. This is something that I discussed on my member community also. In case you are someone who is looking to learn about stock investing properly, sequentially, in a stepwise manner, I run a course also, live batches starting. These batches get filled out very, very quickly because we have limited seats. This is a live course. The completion rate of my courses is 95%. All the investors who come to study, they actually complete it, watch the course multiple times, and the feedback has been exceptionally good. You guys can go and check it out yourself. The link is in the description. Now here, see, I'll tell you very, very honestly why that 20% cash strategy makes a lot of sense. ये मैं थोड़ा सा हटा देता हूँ, and now let me explain it. So see, basically what you will find out is that चलो October 2021 से देखते हैं, right? So you will see this one 10% dip here, right? So this is dip 1, right? 10%. ये another dip है 10% की, ये another dip है 10% की, ये another dip है 10% की, and यहाँ पे भी this was roughly 10% dip. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 times in the last how many years? Roughly like 2.5, 3 years, right? के time frame में there have been 5 dips where the market has corrected by more than 10%. Okay, right now where we are, we have, if you draw the technicals, what you will see is that this is the long-term trading channel of Nifty. Okay, it has broken this down. Okay, and where does the first support come for Nifty? It comes here, and the second support comes here. So the chances are there is a good probability or a very high probability that the markets will fall to this point A. There is also a decent probability that it will fall to point B. So आपने bulk investing कब करनी है? You should do bulk investing at point B. You should do some investing at point A. Okay. But this अभी क्या करेंगे लोग कि budget के time पे will like keep on trading. It makes no sense whatsoever. This is like there is just no support here, right? And there is no macro factor. At least as of now, macro factors can be generated in the market, I don't know, and that could propel the market even further. I'm not denying that possibility, but the chances or probability game हमें खेलना होता है in the stock market. There is a higher likelihood that the markets are going to fall at this range. So आप तब खरीदो, right? I mean that makes more sense. That is a much better opportunity. हर कोई बैठा हुआ है, right? I mean everyone is sitting right now कि अच्छा budget आएगा, then we will go and invest money or like do this and do that, or we'll wait for the budget to get over. It does not matter from that angle. And having that 20% cash strategy is a very powerful strategy, especially when the market is at an all-time high and it is trading without a support, right? Very, very high chance that it will fall, right? I'm not trying to make you panic. All I'm simply trying to tell you is कि अब budget के चक्कर में मत रहो. Maybe like wait for 1, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, and you will get to buy the market at support. So that is probably the best time to buy it again, right? In bulk. That is what I would sort of suggest to you. Next key point is that you need to buy the market at support all the time. So this is just a repeat from the previous point that I was explaining. For example, this is a trading channel, right? So this is support 1 for the market, this line, right? This is the support line. This will become support 2 most likely, right? And in fact, ये support 3 हो जाएगा, ये support 2 ये वाली line होगी, and this will be support 3. Then you will have 4th support here. So यहाँ पे तो एक तरीके से bear run शुरू हो गई, right? If the market falls to this point. Now this is unlikely to happen, right? Unless there is like some massive negative news or some kind of uncertain thing that has come out. But आपकी buying कहाँ से शुरू होनी चाहिए? Your buying should start from here, and you have to plan your portfolio accordingly, and therefore learning how to cultivate and build a portfolio is absolutely critical. Now again, this is something that I teach on my courses कि आप cash flow कैसे manage करो, how do you build a portfolio using index, mutual funds, direct stocks, small cap, mid cap, how to target a particular return. So all these strategies I discuss. So point number 5, that there are certain overvalued stocks. I have spoken about this on this video also. So for example, आप IRFC देखो, right? So IRFC is here. Now here what is happening, right? So the stock went from 31 rupees all the way till 217 rupees. So कितना हो गया? Almost ये 7 times हो गया, right? And यहाँ पे have the profits, revenues gone up 7 times. Yeah, double हुए हैं, right? This is here and double हुए हैं, right? So it's not as if कि the PE of the stock is making sense, right? This is a rail stock. This is primarily driven by regulation, public sector enterprises, government. वहाँ पे 43-44 के स्टॉक आपको मिल रहा है, पी के स्टॉक एट अ मार्केट कैप ऑफ 2.66 लाख करोड़. इट डजंट मेक सेंस. होता क्या है इन द मार्केट कि देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड ए सेक्टर रोटेशन, राइट. सो सेक्टर रोटेशन, राइट. सेक्टर रोटेशन ये होता है कि देर आर थीम्स, राइट. कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल देर इज़ रेल थीम, ओके. अब क्या करेंगे कि रेल थीम को वो बहुत चला देंगे, राइट. इट विल बी मेड टू गो लाइक वेरी वेरी हाई. वाई? बिकॉज बहुत सारे DIIs FIIs होते हैं, यू नो, ऑपरेटर्स होते हैं. सो दे विल कीप ऑन बाइंग दिस स्टॉक, राइट. एंड दे विल जस्ट पंप इट अप, राइट. कि यहाँ तक ले गए, ओके. देन वॉट विल दे डू, राइट. वंस देयर मनी इज मेड, दे विल कट देयर पोजिशंस हियर, राइट. And then what will they do? Whatever money they are getting, they will rotate that money into some other theme. For example, जैसे private banks की theme is undervalued, right? So they might pick a theme which is overvalued, cut their positions and rotate that money into an undervalued theme. Now, which brings us to the next point that, hey, buy undervalued themes, not overvalued themes. Now, what do I mean by undervalued themes? So, for example, consider Kotak Mahindra Bank. आज इसमें हाहाकार मच गया है कि, you know what, Kotak Mahindra fell by 3.5 or 3.3%. See, guys, basically the way sector rotation works is that the money moves from overvalued themes to undervalued themes, okay? And कब होगा overvalued themes से undervalued themes? कि जब undervalued को और भी अंडरवैल्यूड बना देंगे, ओके. सो दैट इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग ऑन कोटक महिंद्रा बैंक एंड द लाइक्स. नाउ देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग विद द बैंकिंग सिस्टम राइट नाउ, राइट. टेक अ लुक एट द फंडामेंटल्स ऑफ कोटक महिंद्रा बैंक. फॉर एग्जांपल पी रेशियो. आप मेरे को ये बताओ, पी रेशियो वाज 18 और राइट नाउ इट इज 18. व्हेन वाज द लास्ट टाइम द पी रेशियो ऑफ कोटक महिंद्रा बैंक वाज 18-19? इट वाज व्हेन बैंकिंग क्राइसिस वाज गोइंग ऑन इन अमेरिका, राइट. दिस वाज रफली 1.5 decades अगो. इतना सस्ता कहीं मिला ही नहीं है. नाउ नेचुरल क्वेश्चन कम्स कि कुछ खराब होगा कोटक महिंद्रा बैंक में, ओके. तो आप रिजल्ट देख लो यार. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यहाँ पे आप देखो, राइट. सिंस 2020, राइट, द बिजनेस हैज़ डबल्ड, देर इज नो प्रॉब्लम. सिंस 2020 द प्रॉफिट्स हैव ऑलमोस्ट ट्रिपल्ड, देर इज नो प्रॉब्लम. सो प्रॉब्लम है कहाँ, राइट. द प्रॉब्लम और द सिंपल थिंग दैट इज हैपनिंग ऑन बैंक्स लाइक कोटक महिंद्रा इज कि उनको और डिस्काउंट करा जा रहा है जानबूझ के. दैट्स इट, राइट. वाई? सो दैट थीम्स लाइक रेलवेज, वहाँ से पैसा निकले एंड इट फ्लोज इन टू प्राइवेट बैंक्स. ये और भी हो सकता है. आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट कोटक महिंद्रा बैंक कैन नॉट फॉल, बट जितना वो गिरेगा उतना आप पिक कर सकते हो. दैट इज समथिंग दैट यू कुड कंसिडर, राइट. सो दैट्स अ सिंपल पॉइंट आई विल टेल यू हियर. नाउ नेक्स्ट पॉइंट कम्स दैट बेसिकली दैट यू कैन समटाइम्स द बेस्ट स्ट्रैटेजी इन द मार्केट इज वेट एंड वॉच स्ट्रैटेजी. नाउ द मीनिंग ऑफ वेट एंड वॉच स्ट्रैटेजी इज कि यार हम लोग को हमेशा ना कुछ एक itch लगी रहती है कि, you know, we will go buy something or we'll go sell something in the market. You don't need to do that all the time, especially in markets like these. अभी we are trading without a support. We are here, there is no support as of now. So ज़बरदस्ती उसमें खरीद लेना does not make sense. On the flip side, there will be investors जिनने 2021 से मेरे साथ इन्वेस्ट किया होगा. 2021, 2, 3 बहुत भर भर के खरीदी थी हमने चीज़ें. 2020 में भी बहुत खरीदी थी एंड तब से अब तक बहुत प्रॉफिट हुआ होगा आप लोगों को, राइट. एंड उसमें अब आप सोच रहे हो कि यार ये देखो यार, आई एम लाइक सिटिंग ऑन लाइक 40%, 50% प्रॉफिट ऑन माई पोर्टफोलियो, 60-70% तक भी होगा. सो बेच दूँ, राइट. आई मीन मार्केट लुक्स हाई. सी देयर आर मैक्रो ट्रिगर्स लेफ्ट विच इज प्राइमरली एन इंटरेस्ट रेट कट विच इज अबाउट टू हैपन. सो देयर इज नो पॉइंट इन सेलिंग ऑल्सो, राइट. सो दिस इज जस्ट अ वेट एंड वॉच टाइप ऑफ अ मार्केट. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दैट दिस इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजंस यू हैव टू टेक रिगार्डिंग योर पोर्टफोलियो नाउ, वेदर टू बिल्ड more positions or cut some positions. You don't necessarily need to cut if you don't have better use of that money, okay. So this is what I will say. Next is that you could consider buying defensive stocks. Now I'm not saying defense stock, I'm saying defensive stocks. An example would be that, for example, in 2020 HUL was probably the only stock, and HUL and friends, they were the only stocks that continued to give a run up despite the entire market falling. Why? Because these are defensive stocks. You require these type of things for daily use. I've been speaking about consumer durable stocks for the last 8-9 months. Voltas, Whirlpool have given very good run up in that time frame. Why? Because this was a rebounding industry. This was defensive in nature, so to say. These are regular use product, so to say, and people are going and they were bouncing back from a negative time, so to say, right. So usme the point is ki abhi bhi, right, I mean, because the risk in the market is high, the money will get rotated to defensive stocks. There is a very high likelihood this will happen more and more in the future, because the bond market or the long term bond market has just eroded, right. I mean, there are like fundamental problems there, right. I'll make a separate video on that, but to cut the long story short, there are issues with the bond market. So therefore investors have no choice but to move money between high risk to medium risk to low risk stocks, right. So defensive stocks are low risk stocks. When market mein risk zyada hai, then defensive stocks are always going to rally, at least for a substantial future. Then comes the next point, that don't do FNO, okay. FNO is a sub segment of trading. FNO पे आपके taxes बहुत लगते हैं, right? In India, it does not make logical sense. You have to take a look at your after tax return. Number two, as I was explaining, that the volatility on the market is really high, and FNO traders are the worst hit by volatility. आगे चल के भी volatility बहुत होने वाली है, so there is no point in touching FNO कि हम ये straddle कर लेंगे, हम butterfly कर लेंगे. Please stay away. It does not make much sense. Final point is that please understand, when interest rates are going to cut, that will be the major rally point for the market next. This is what it looks like, and it is most likely going to happen. Expectations are that US is going to cut the interest rate towards end of the year. India will follow, other countries will also follow. So India में हो सकता है January, February के आसपास आए. So next 3-4 months are going to most likely be sideways. You don't need to do much, right? I mean, just keep pruning your portfolio, keep adding good undervalued stocks, keep selling overvalued stocks, have confidence in your investing style. If you don't have confidence to buy like good things which are undervalued, you'll not make money when these things turn around, right? तब तो आप खरीद ही नहीं सकते, right? So that's a simple point. So उस हिसाब से देख लेना, right? This is my simple kind of viewpoint which I was able to express. And also a quick reminder that please check out the links for buying health and term insurance through Policy Bazaar in the description and comment box. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do press the like button and I'll see you soon.